Hello teachers, my name is John,
My name is Chau.
and we're here today to talk to you about a plurilingual approach to teaching second language vocabulary. We designed this video for teachers of Tagalog as a heritage language in Montreal, Canada, whose students are adult Filipino Canadians, French-English bilinguals, and/or beginner Tagalog students.
This video talks about plurilingual approach to L2 vocabulary teaching. We're gonna go through definition, benefits, and pedagogical implications of the approach. We also have an example vocabulary activity for introducing infixing and partial reduplication in Tagalog using translation and cross-linguistics analysis. What is a plurilingual approach? This approach emphasizes how learners relate the languages in their linguistic repertoire to each other when learning a new language. In other words, this could mean using your French to learn new Spanish words, comparing between English and Tagalog words to learn spelling, or associating sounds between Vietnamese and English to recall better. Does this approach have any benefits? Case studies say yes. Plurilingual pedagogy helps students discover their linguistic strengths, scaffold course tasks, and increase metalinguistic awareness. How can you practice this in teaching second language vocabulary? Well, plurilingual approach can be applied in many ways. However, this video focuses on cross-linguistics analysis and translation only. We'll show you what they are in an activity.
So now, let's look at a plurilingual second language vocabulary task. This vocabulary task is easy. It's called, What Are They Doing? There are 3 steps involved. First is translation, second is cross-linguistic analysis, and third is a game of charades. The activity will be mostly oral, and the theme will be daily home activities and the common verbs pertaining to them. Topics will be infixing and partial reduplication in Tagalog word formation. However, the goal is only to introduce the students to these topics, while providing them with basic and useful vocabulary in Tagalog that will help them recognize words and word forms used at home, where the heritage language is mostly spoken. Step 1. Translation. Using your students' first languages, in this case English and French, ask them to brainstorm orally for at least 5 daily activities that they do at home. Then, take the base form of the verbs used for these activities and give them Tagalog translations on the board and read them aloud. For example, I have eat, manger, is kain, wake up, se réveiller, is gising, sleep, dormir, is tulog. You get the idea. Next, get your students to use one of the verbs from your list by sharing a personal example using a simple sentence. Again, allow them to use their first languages. Make sure to use all of the verbs in your list. Then, take the sentences and translate them. Write them down on the board and read them aloud. For example, a student might say, I eat eggs in the morning, or Je mange des œufs le matin. In Tagalog, kumakain ako ng itlog sa umaga. Step 2. Cross-linguistic analysis. After translating all of your students' examples from English and French to Tagalog and then reading them aloud, assign each set of sentences to a group of 2 to 3 students for cross-linguistic analysis. This means while using their first languages, ask them to compare and contrast the English and French and Tagalog translations. Let them focus on the verbs, the sound, the spelling, and the appearance of the words. After giving them some time, discuss as a class what they discovered, and hear about their cross-linguistic analysis. To push the analysis further, take the conjugated verbs from the sentences and then isolate them. Using what they learned from step 1, ask your students to box the base forms of the verbs while you will underline the infixes and circle the partial reduplications. For ease, note that we italicized the base forms and we bolded the partial reduplications in the examples down below. Now, ask the class as a whole to work together and guess why you underlined and encircled certain parts of the words. Encourage and prompt them to think about their first languages and any other second languages that they know to help them guess why. For example, you can ask the following questions. Do we say, we wake up in English, or manger in French? Or in English, we say, we cook, or sleepless. But can we say, correct, or sleepless? French allows me réveiller, but does it allow reméveiller? Once your class has figured it out, conclude this step by emphasizing that we can attach infixes to words and then partially reduplicate them in order to form new words in Tagalog. You do not need to go into the details of these linguistic processes. This is not the goal of the activity. Instead, the goal is to raise your students' awareness of partial reduplication and infixes in Tagalog words. Then, you can introduce the last step, charades. Step 3, charades. Finish off this activity by playing a game of charades. This will help your students rehearse the new vocabulary for better recall. First, ask your students to come up front, one at a time, and to choose a verb to mime from the list that you guys came up with from step 1. They should choose in their heads before coming up. Then, they mime their chosen verb in front of everybody, and you ask the class, what are they doing? The rest of the class will guess by yelling the answer or the verb in Tagalog, with the infixing and partial reduplication. For example, if I were to mime someone eating, the class should yell, kumakain. Once everyone has played their turn, the game ends. You can make the game more competitive by adding more rules or modifying the ones I have here, or by splitting the class into teams and keeping a score. And there you have it, a plurilingual second language vocabulary task involving translation, cross-linguistic analysis, and a fun game of charades.
Thanks everyone for watching this video.
And we hope that you apply this activity to other second language classrooms.